You've been doing this your entire life, without even realizing it. Every passing thought, every surge of emotion, every breath that leaves your body isn't just happening inside of you. It's rippling outward, weaving itself into the invisible field that surrounds everything. The truth is, you're already influencing energy. Everyone is. The difference is that most people do it blindly, scattered, distracted, unaware. And when you're unconscious of it, the results show up as randomness, chaos that feels accidental, moments that appear unpredictable. But awareness changes everything. The instant you recognize that the outside world isn't outside at all, that it's a mirror reflecting the frequency you broadcast, that's the moment reality begins to shift in ways that feel almost miraculous. You are not separate from the energy you hope to shape. You are immersed in it. You are woven into the very fabric you're trying to touch. And this field doesn't respond to empty words or forced effort. It responds to your state of being. This is the hidden current beneath all experience, the subconscious connection. It's the silent force guiding your choices, your encounters, and the so-called coincidences that slip into your life. Think back to a moment when something lined up perfectly. Meeting the right person at the exact right time, stumbling upon an opportunity as if it had been waiting for you, or sensing something moments before it happened. Those weren't accidents. They were responses, ripples in the quantum field echoing back the frequencies you were already sending out. Here's what makes it even more profound. It isn't your conscious mind steering the ship. It's your subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't care what you say you want. It only responds to what you actually believe, to the emotions you repeat, and to the expectations you hold beneath the surface. This is why simple affirmations often fall flat. It's why visualizations crumble if they're built on a foundation of doubt. Because the subconscious is the back door to the field, and until that door is open, you're only polishing the front steps without ever stepping inside. Quantum events aren't illusions or tricks. They are the natural consequences of interaction between your inner world and the fabric of reality itself. Think of it this way. Your thoughts send the signal. Your emotions magnetize the signal. And your subconscious alignment decides whether the transmission is clear or full of static. When all three align, you don't get interference, you get coherence, a clean, powerful instruction to the field. The real question has never been whether you influence energy. It's how consciously, how consistently, and how effectively you're doing it. Take a look at your life as it stands right now. The circumstances you wake up to, the relationships that orbit around you, the doors that open or stubbornly remain closed. All of it is not random. It's a reflection of the signals you've been sending out, whether knowingly or not. This isn't about blame, and it isn't about judgment. It's simply the physics of energy. Once you grasp that, you stop handing your power over to luck, fate, or coincidence. You realize you've been shaping reality the entire time. You just didn't know you were holding the blueprint. Here's where most people get stuck. They assume creating change means managing every single thought, feeling, and reaction like a strict overseer. That's not only exhausting, it's unnecessary. Because the field doesn't require perfection, it responds to consistency. You don't need to extinguish every doubt. What matters is the dominant signal, the steady vibration that outshines the occasional shadow. Think of yourself as a lighthouse on the shore. Even if storm clouds pass by, your beam keeps shining, unwavering, guiding the way. And when your inner alignment, the beliefs of your subconscious, finally harmonizes with your conscious desires, The field responds with stunning accuracy. That's when life feels enchanted. Synchronicities multiply, opportunities gather speed, and events unfold that logic alone can't explain. It has nothing to do with working harder. It has everything to do with transmitting more clearly. The challenge is that most people live in contradiction. They ask for wealth but radiate scarcity. They long for love but vibrate with fear. They picture success but embody self-doubt. And the field isn't listening to their words. It's listening to their energy, their posture, their breath, their entire state of being. This is why the subconscious connection is the hidden key. So imagine this. What if you could deliberately tune this process? What if you could strengthen the broadcast you're already sending, remove the noise, and sync your inner world with the vast quantum field? Wouldn't it mean that the life you've been chasing isn't something to grind for piece by piece, but something you can tune into, like a frequency that's been humming all along, just waiting for you to match it? Think about that. You've been influencing reality unconsciously, half aware, half asleep. But what happens when you awaken, when you step into this process with full awareness and intention? That's when life stops being a series of accidents and begins to feel like a masterpiece you're painting in real time. Now comes the real shift, the part where this stops being theory and starts becoming practice. The question is simple. Are you ready to step into the next level of influence? Up until now, you've been sending signals to the field without realizing it. Sometimes strong, sometimes scattered, often contradictory. But here's the truth. Not all signals carry the same weight. The power to shape reality doesn't come from trying harder, but from bringing your mind, heart, and body into harmony, so that the message you send is clear, unified, and impossible for the field to ignore. Most people move through life broadcasting static. Their mind insists on one story, their heart aches for another, and their body reacts in ways that betray both. This creates interference, a noisy tangle of frequencies that cancel each other out. And when the field receives a mixed transmission, it mirrors back confusion. It's like trying to tune into your favorite radio station while static drowns out the music. You might be close to the right frequency, but the noise keeps you from hearing the signal. This is why coherence changes everything. When your brain waves, heart rhythms, and nervous system align, something profound happens. You become like a tuning fork, resonating with the reality you want to experience. Your thoughts no longer clash with your emotions. Your desires stop warring with your beliefs. Your body stops resisting the vision of your mind. In that moment, your energy stops whispering. It starts commanding. And science backs this up. The heart generates an electromagnetic field many times stronger than the brain. This energy doesn't stay locked within your chest. It radiates outward, subtly influencing the people, places, and situations around you. When you combine that coherent heart energy with focused mental intention, you produce a signal so organized, so clear, that it interacts with the quantum field in powerful ways. But here's the beauty. You don't need perfection to achieve this. You don't need to silence every stray thought or suppress every flicker of fear. Coherence isn't about flawless control. It's about establishing a strong enough baseline of alignment that the occasional wave of chaos can't pull you off course. So how do you step into coherence? You begin with awareness. Notice the moments when your body tightens, when your thoughts spiral, when your breath becomes shallow. Pause. Slow down. Breathe deeper. Bring the body back into calm. From that place, set a clear intention, not from desperation, but from trust. See the outcome in your mind, feel the emotion of already living it, and allow your body to imprint that state. With practice, coherence becomes less of an effort and more of a natural state. You stop chasing outcomes, and instead, you begin drawing them in. People often ask, "How long until I see results?" But the real question is, how long are you willing to practice coherence until it becomes who you are, rather than just something you do? Because when coherence becomes your default, the field doesn't need convincing, it responds. And before we move further, let me invite you into something important. If this message resonates, if you feel that inner shift, that recognition of this is what I've been missing, then subscribe to this channel. Not for numbers, but because this space is here to help you stay aligned with these truths. And let's make it interactive. Share in the comments one area of your life where you sense misalignment right now. Not as weakness, but as a doorway, a starting point for transformation. Sometimes naming the misalignment is the very act that loosens its hold on you. Let's take this journey one step further. You now understand the difference between scattered energy and aligned energy. But here's where things get truly fascinating. Coherence alone isn't the finish line. There's a deeper mechanism at work, a subtle dance between you and the field that decides whether your intentions remain possibilities or solidify into reality. This is the hidden architecture of manifestation, the interplay of probability, expectation, and collapse. It's the reason why even small shifts inside you can send ripples outward, reorganizing the very structure of your life. Stay with me here, because this is where the mystery deepens. It explains why some people seem to experience quantum leaps and synchronicities with ease, while others remain trapped in the same repeating cycles, no matter how much effort they pour into rituals or routines. Think of coherence as the doorway. It gives you access. But stepping through requires understanding the deeper game: probability. Beneath every moment of your life exists an invisible landscape of possibilities, infinite versions of reality, all shimmering side by side, waiting for something to select one and bring it into focus. Here's the secret. The universe doesn't hand you what you want just because you desire it. It delivers what you're tuned to expect. Quantum physics illustrates this beautifully. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a wave of probabilities until one outcome crystallizes. But what collapses the wave into form? The observer. Not the passive bystander who drifts through life, but the active observer. The one whose focus, belief, and expectation weave potential into tangible experience. And here's where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They visualize their goals, they set their affirmations, they declare their desires, yet underneath it all, their subconscious is running a very different script. They look at their finances and expect scarcity. They enter relationships expecting rejection. They look at their own body expecting disappointment, and the field responds, not out of punishment, but out of obedience. It reflects the dominant signal. Your conscious mind might repeat, "I am abundant." But if your subconscious hums with the program, "There's never enough," the field doesn't hear the words. It hears the vibration. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're layering surface rituals on top of deeply ingrained expectations, and the deeper broadcast always wins. But here's where transformation begins. When you align not only your thoughts, but also your beliefs and assumptions, you tilt the scales of probability. Reality begins to bend in your favor, and it doesn't require an overnight overhaul. Even small adjustments, a shift in posture, a change in how you breathe, the subtle confidence of expecting things to work out. These are the levers that nudge reality toward the version you've been seeking. The wave doesn't collapse all at once. It tips gradually, pulled by momentum. And with each conscious adjustment, each belief realigned, you guide the probability closer to the life you've been waiting to live. Picture yourself walking down a long corridor, lined with countless doors. Behind each one lies a possible version of your future, the next moment, the next chapter of your story. But here's the truth. You don't open them all. You open the door you expect to open, and that expectation is shaped by your dominant energy, your subconscious narrative, and the emotional baseline you carry within. This is why inner shifts create outer breakthroughs. Change your internal frequency, and suddenly the world around you begins to reorganize itself. What looked like chance encounters, lucky breaks, or out-of-nowhere opportunities are actually reflections of a new probability you've begun to embody. But here's the challenge. Expectation cannot be faked. You can't repeat, "I'm abundant," while trembling in fear over unpaid bills and expect the field to align with wealth. The field doesn't respond to empty words. It resonates with the vibration beneath them. So the real work is quieter, subtler. It's the work of loosening the knots of resistance, softening the grip of limiting assumptions, and gently retraining your body, mind, and heart to hold a new baseline of possibility. In practice, it looks like this. Noticing when fear makes you shrink and breathing deeply instead of collapsing. Catching yourself expecting disappointment and daring, if only for a moment, to imagine a brighter outcome. Rehearsing success not just in the mind, but in the nervous system, letting your body feel what thriving would be like. Over time, the shift becomes undeniable. The probability field bends. Events line up. Synchronicities stack upon one another. Doors you didn't even know existed open wide. Not because you forced reality into submission, but because your signal became clear enough for that version of life to find you. So pause for a moment. Can you sense it? The hidden expectations that have been quietly directing your life without your consent. That recognition is powerful. Awareness is the threshold, the doorway into transformation. And now we come to a paradox that sits at the heart of manifestation, the very reason many people unintentionally sabotage themselves. What if the key isn't more control, but surrender? Think about it. We've been conditioned to hustle, to push, to force our way forward. And yes, effort can produce results in the physical world. But when applied to the quantum field, force creates friction. Because the field doesn't yield to domination, it flows with alignment. And alignment often feels like letting go. Now let's clear up a misconception. Surrender is not resignation. It isn't passivity, laziness, or abandoning your dreams. True surrender is releasing the urge to micromanage every detail of how your desires come to life. It's trusting the intelligence of the field to arrange the pieces while you maintain the frequency of your vision. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every morning to check if it's growing. You water it, you nourish the soil, and you trust the process. The paradox is, the less you interfere with anxious, grasping energy, the more quickly growth appears. When you truly surrender, you stop sending mixed signals. You stop saying, "I trust," while secretly clinging to fear. You stop pretending to let go while still holding on energetically. And in that genuine release, the subconscious doorway opens wider than ever before. This is the art of surrendered influence. where letting go becomes the most powerful way to hold on. Here's a truth most people overlook. The subconscious cannot be forced into alignment. You can't bully yourself into coherence, but you can invite it. You can create the conditions where your body loosens its grip, your breath deepens, your heart softens, and your energy stops vibrating with neediness. And when that happens, something extraordinary unfolds. You stop being the seeker, and you become the signal. You stop chasing after reality, and instead reality begins moving toward you. Manifestation stops being an effort and turns into embodiment. And the field? It listens. It reorganizes. It mirrors back the frequency you've become, not as a reward, but as a reflection. At the core of quantum creation lies a profound trust, a trust that whispers, if I align, the universe aligns. If I embody, reality reshapes. If I become, the world responds. But here's the difficulty. Surrender feels unnatural to a mind addicted to control. We crave timelines, guarantees, proof. We want to know when and how. Yet the more we demand certainty, the tighter we grip, and the more resistance the field mirrors back to us. This is the paradox. The moment you stop clinging, you step into greater power. You set your intention. You harmonize your vibration. And then, you release. You let go of micromanaging the timeline. You stop obsessing over the details. You refuse to collapse every time life tests your patience. Ironically, this kind of surrender gives you more influence than control ever could. People often ask, how do I know if I've surrendered or if I've simply given up? The difference is simple. Surrender feels spacious. Resignation feels heavy. Surrender feels light in the body. Resignation feels like collapse. Surrender keeps you open to possibilities. Resignation slams the door shut. So let me ask you, where in your life are you still forcing outcomes? Where are you gripping so tightly that the energy can't flow? And what might shift if, even just for today, you softened your hold and trusted the process? Because here's a secret rarely spoken aloud. The universe is tilted in your favor. Life is wired for expansion, for growth, for creation. The field wants to align with you. When you stop standing in the way, you're not losing power. You're stepping into a deeper current of it. And now, as we prepare to enter the final section, we're going to weave everything together. We've explored the subconscious connection, the art of coherence, the mechanics of probability and wave collapse, and the paradox of surrender. But none of these teachings mean anything unless you learn to embody them. That's where transformation becomes reality. This is where everything we've explored comes together. The shift isn't about trying to create quantum events anymore. It's about becoming the event itself. Not just for a moment in meditation, not just during a visualization, but as your natural state of being. You're not here to control energy. You're here to embody it. Because energy responds to energy. The field responds to the clearest signal. And reality doesn't bend for those who chase. It bends for those who match. When you walk through life as the signal, aligned, coherent, surrendered, the field doesn't hesitate. It organizes around you. Circumstances shift, people appear, doors open. Not because you forced the outcome or earned it through struggle, but because you stopped pretending to be separate from the current that has always carried you. This is what it means to live as the quantum event. Not as a passing practice, not as theory you visit once a day, but as a baseline identity. A quiet knowing that says, I already am the vibration I seek. I already radiate what I desire. I already carry the signal reality responds to. When you live this way, Doubts may still arise. Fear may still whisper. Sadness may still pass through. But these states no longer define you. They don't dominate your vibration. They pass like weather over an anchored mountain, and beneath them, you remain steady. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. It doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't beg for the storm to stop. It simply stands, shining its beam across the waters, unwavering, consistent, clear. That's what it means to live as the signal, not controlling the waves, but radiating light through them. And when you do, something unmistakable shifts. People sense it. They feel safer, inspired, or uplifted in your presence without knowing why. Opportunities start arriving at your door. Synchronicities multiply. Life doesn't resist you. It responds to you. And then you remember what was always true. You were never separate. Your subconscious isn't just a vault of memory. It's a transmitter of vibration. Coherence isn't an abstract concept. It's the switch that organizes your reality. Surrender isn't weakness. It's stepping aside so the field can do what it's designed to do. The truth is, you've always been this. You simply forgot. And now, you remember. So what happens next? You begin to move differently. You breathe with trust. You speak as someone who no longer asks reality to change, but invites it to reflect what you already embody. You don't try to become, you recognize you already are. The field doesn't need your force. It needs your signal. And if there's one thing to carry from this teaching, let it be this. The version of you who already lives the life you dream of isn't waiting in the future. It exists here, now, entangled with you, waiting for you to stop pretending you're not already connected. The real question is, will you choose to tune into it fully, unapologetically, and consistently until it becomes second nature? Because when you do, the quantum always responds. So here's my invitation. Share one word in the comments that represents your next shift. Trust, flow, release, or whatever resonates. That word becomes part of your signal. And if this message spoke to you, subscribe so we can continue growing together. Remember, you're not here to chase change. You are here to become it. And the moment you do, life itself moves with you.